Hey everybody, TC here from TC's Bunch of Stuff, and welcome back to my channel. We are back in Scrap Mechanic Drilling Thunder. And as a little update on my progress. So as you can see, we are down in the mines. I have my crafting chain set up down here. We have a little glow bug for making the poop. We got just a single beehive down here. That seems to be plenty for what I'm doing. We got a resource collector in front of the crush bot attached to the input of the prospector bot. That goes to another chest, and that leads to all the pumps to fill up all of them. Now, I did notice that some of the stuff that comes out of the crush bot doesn't go through the prospector bot, so I just added these two elbows to connect the chests together. I mean, technically you don't need these chests, but it's just a convenience. You know, the stuff collects in here and then I can grab it all. Again, with this particular chest, I mean, one here is fine. You really don't need this one, but I left it, you know. Alright, so yeah, that's where I'm at with that. I do have a living room where I can sit and watch some television, you know. It's always nice to relax once in a while. Over here is my completely unfinished kitchen area. Got my little cook bot and got some veggies, some corn, couple of baguettes. Got extra tomatoes there, burgers and teas in there. Up here we have our little growing station here with all the portable farm plots, and unfortunately you cannot harvest these by pump, so you have to manually harvest and then replant. It's complete automatic planting. It's kind of like a smaller, simplified version of the big one I have back at the mechanic station. So, just got a couple of chests up here, one for seeds and one for fertilizer. And the, get off of there. And the water jet is in the front. So, as soon as those are harvested, we can show you that in operation. This chest is just an overflow chest for stuff like that. I have been trying to put labels on all these Wonkavator's. This one takes you up to the first ball stage up there, basically. La 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 la. I really wish you could turn things off like that. Okay. So, yeah, let me show you what I've done at the ball stations. Okay. So, at the first ball station, I got this big ramp. And it's been working pretty good. I did have to modify it a few times, you know, as I figured out what was working, what wasn't working. I started out without those ice ramps, and what would happen is the ball would hit and bounce, and sometimes it would bounce out. So I added extra fencing, and I still ended up with once in a while a ball would bounce out, so I added these ice ramps to kind of create a gradual motion for the ball, and that seemed to do the trick. I haven't had a single ball fall out since I've done that. I was going to replace all of this with ice, but it really isn't necessary. I started over there, you can see. And to make a ramp like this, I can show you how to do that if you've never done it before, but this is simply mounted on bearings. It's just sitting there freely. If you put your lift under it, you can see it raises up and just falls down because it's on bearings. And the way you do that, you have to have it welded together so that both bearings are connected to the same assembly. I don't have blocks on me, but I will show you that if you've never done that before. So you need the weld tool, you need bearings, and you need blocks. And then you can make a ramp basically any size and length you want without having to use wedge blocks, even though I did eventually use wedge blocks just to get the ball to stop bouncing. Okay, so that's stage one. Works good. Haven't had any issues since the last modification. Let's head down to stage two. Now, I do need to improve this stage a little bit right here. Most of the balls have no trouble, but every once in a while, a ball will hit, bounce, and just kind of sit here. Won't go down the ramp, so I need to modify these sides a little bit, angle them more. So then it slides down here, and you see I got this rotating arm that will just push the balls along, or me, and they'll just come over to the end. I added a little ramp just for added efficiency, and it'll go down to the next stage. That one works pretty good too. I haven't had many issues with that one. Let's go down to the last one. I have not finished the last ball stage yet, but I did do a double bearing ramp here, and I added these angled sides. And to add these angled sides, it's just a couple more bearings, and I use a controller temporarily just to set the angle of the sides, and then I build blocks to kind of grab the end. They're not actually attached, they're just, kind of holding the end in place. And then you can remove the controller once you get that secured in place. And this just slides down. I haven't had any issues with this first half. I have not completed the last of it yet, though. I'm not sure exactly what I want to do down here. I could do another swing arm setup, maybe, but it is a large area to work with, so almost every ball ends up in this general location where I'm standing now. So that's where I'm at with that. Let's go down, and I will show you just a quick little tutorial on how to build an angled ramp if you don't know how to do that yet. So, another thing is I built a dump truck to try to take these up to the vault. It's fine if I actually place them in the dump truck, but I intended to just have the dump truck sit here and catch them as they fall. Bad idea. I really suggest you don't try that. It turns into a massive lag fest. Oh my gosh, I was down to like 4 or 5 frames per second. It was bad. So yeah, I actually place them in now so that they can't roll around and move and bump against each other, because it took a long time to get this truck off the ramp with everything free floating. It was painful. So it is still a dump truck, I just don't use the dump function, which is kind of unfortunate. But yeah, so we'll take these up. There we go. All right, so we can close the tailgate and head on up. So on my left there, I had a walk pen, which I thought was a really good idea, but then the walk just suddenly disappeared one time, so yeah. Suspension on this thing is really, really low. I gotta invest some component kits. And I don't know why, but when you bring a vehicle in here, the suspension just starts dancing all over the place. Okay, there we go. So I just recently hit the 500,000 mark, which it's taken me a long time to do it. My mining strategy is not the most efficient, but I have fun. You know what I mean? I like to mine everything. All the dirt, all the rocks, even if I'm not getting resources. I don't know, I just find it relaxing. I can't reach that one. Alright, we'll just slap that on for now. Fix it later. Okay, so 566,800 coin, or whatever. Wonk bucks. Okie dokie. So over here, this is just a junk pile. Bunch of random stuff collected. Okay, what else? Got my scout vehicle here. Got a trailer on it that I can easily disconnect. And the creme de la creme, my mining vehicle. Ah! So it's a little heavy, a little robust. So wall climbing is not the greatest because it is so heavy. I mean, I could add a third set of wheels, which would probably give it enough stick. But I kind of like the way it is right now. What I think I'll do is build a second dedicated vehicle for wall climbing, make it super light, no resource collection at all, not even chests, just the drill rig and a chassis, basically. And we'll go in with that, drill a bunch of stuff, let it fall, and then come back in with this guy and pick up all the stuff. That way I can wall climb, ceiling climb, you know, go everywhere without worrying about falling down. This vehicle has more complexity to it than I will put on the new vehicle. We've got the max level rotating drills in the front, just 2 of them. I found 2 is fine. Yes, 3 would drill a little faster, but it also uses more batteries. So I find 2 to be kind of the nice balance point between speed and battery usage. I also have a piston right here mounted behind the spinning assembly that I can press a button that'll extend out. It's a max level piston, so I get 15 units of extension, and it allows me to drill up further and into like a cavity, whatever. I tried to make the front as open as I could so I can aim down, but As another added feature, the whole turret is mounted on a tipping table. So it tips to 45 degrees. So this helps when you're on the wall to like get different areas. It also helps if you wanted to drill down. You can get really down angle on that and dig deep. But I also have the whole turret assembly on 2 sets of pistons. So that gives me an extra 30 units of height. So I can clear out a massive amount of material without even having to reposition the vehicle at all. It works really well. So I got the chest directly under that to collect the small stuff, and the resource collector behind to collect the big stuff. Then I got the bed on the back, so you can sleep in the bed. And you got the engine in the rear. It's not the most protected back here, obviously, but it is a level 5 engine, so it's pretty durable. And in between that, we got 2 battery containers, one for the engine, one for the drills, and in the middle is the chemicals for the wheels. And that's, you know, everything except for a bunch of lights. There is a dead zone for the lights, like on this diagonal right here. But it's not too bad. So yeah, that's the whole mining rig. I hid all the switches and controllers and everything. I hid them underneath, and they're covered by blocks as well, because the cable bots are vicious and they go after your vehicle. So yeah, underneath there is all the button switches and controllers and everything, and I put a layer of blocks on top. The cable bots kind of go for your vehicle first, and they'll just attack anything. They actually can break metal 3. And how do I know that? Because they detach this whole wheel assembly by breaking that block right there, which is metal 3. So keep that in mind while you're mining. The worst part is, while you're drilling, you cannot hear those little cable bots. So you really got to pay attention and you know, stop every once in a while, check out the vehicle, make sure there's no cable bots chewing on it. I love the fact that they give you the cables, but I hate the fact that they exist at all. They are really annoying. I'd rather deal with normal bots than those silly cable bots, let me tell you. Alright, so that's that. Yeah, I can't think of anything else at the moment. Let's go harvest. What? They're not done yet? Come on. Do we have some kind of glitch? I planted these the last time I was in here, and now they're not growing. Hello? Did they not get watered? They look dry. No, I know they got watered. Why is it not watering? Oh, they didn't get watered because I forgot to rehook up the water supply. Okay, let's fix that. Okie dokie. Water to water. That's why they're not growing. Okay. So if you build one of these automatic farming rigs, you can stop the planting and everything on the return trip by adding AND gates. There's one AND gate for each one of the sensors. This blue sensor activates the water, this sensor activates the fertilizer, and this sensor activates the seeds. They're all wired into an AND gate. So this one's wired to here, this one to here, this one to here. And the AND gates are also wired to the individual controls. And they're also wired to the switch that turns on the pistons. So by doing that, when you activate it, everything's activated. Everything gets watered, seeded, fertilized. But when you shut the piston switch off, now they're inactive and they can't water or plant on the return stroke. Yeah, I was like, those things are fertilized. They should be done by now. It'd help if I gave them water. Alright, so that's all harvested. I turn the switch. Everything does its thing. There we go. And I don't have to shut off anything except for that. That pulls the pistons back and disables all three at the same time. And there we go. Easy peasy. And to avoid accidentally triggering these on anything, they are mounted on the top of the rail. And by doing that, you can do this without having to upgrade your sensors to like color mode or anything. Because now they have a rail beneath them where, you know, you can walk through here and nothing ever gets triggered. Yeah. All right, let's go in the mines and do a little bit of mining. I got full batteries, I believe. No, not quite. All right, let's make a few more batteries. Consumable battery. Excellent. I'll leave those in there just in case I want to make something that needs batteries. Alright, so let's top this guy off. It'd be nice if they added the, you know, the dump buttons for these containers as well. That would be nice. Top that off. Might as well top off the chemical chest as well. Perfect. Okay, what are we getting here? We got a couple extra batteries in there. Throw the chemicals in there too. I don't need these carrots on me. What am I doing? Over here. I'll just throw that in there. That's good enough. Okay, and put these seeds away. All right, we're good to go. And for steering, I have normal steering up front, but I have the rear wheels set to tank steering. And that allows me to basically turn in place without being full tank steering. There we go. All right, let's go all the way down to the purple layer there, or pink layer, or whatever. One thing the devs need to fix is when you travel in an elevator in a seat, for some reason it rotates your view by 90 degrees. I'm not touching anything right now, and when it now I'm looking to the left 90 degrees. So I don't know why it does that, but it's a little glitch they should fix. Alright, let's go drill something. How are we doing on the left over here? Yeah, we'll start over here, I guess. Alright, so you just get close to the wall. Already got some gold. Nice. And once I make a sweep, then I can extend the piston on the nose. Make another sweep. Now, drilling takes time, so you'd have to move like super slow to get 100% depth. You know, if I sit in one spot, you can see how far you can actually drill in one go. So that's the max depth I can drill. So you'd have to go really slow to get full depth. So I don't bother trying to do that. I just make sweeps back and forth. And like I said, I just drill everything, which is not an efficient way to do this. But I did want to show you, you know, the functionality of this vehicle. How I'm able to basically drill away a humongous area without even having to move. So once we make a full sweep down here, then we can extend up. And without even having to climb the walls, I can reach way up in the air. There we go. Yeah, my chest turned on. Okay. Now you notice I built the frame out of the spaceship block. It has the same durability as Metal 2, but it weighs a lot less. Oh, let's go get some of that good stuff over there. There we go. I just heard a chunk fall. Yay! I think the resource collectors need more range. That range is too short. The chests aren't too bad, but the resource collector, the range. This is just my opinion. The range is just too damn short on the resource collector. Alright, this is a good situation to use the tilt function. Should probably speed that up a little. There's a chunk. I'll tell you, you don't get chunks very often. A situation like this is where you really got to be careful for those cable bots when you open up a passage like this. But sometimes they just come pouring out. I don't hear any robots. Yeah, it's good to stop once in a while and just listen. Let's take a peek here. Yeah, I don't see anything, I don't hear anything, so I guess we're good. Oh, there we go. Found a dirty vein. There's a chunk. Hey, another chunk. Let's go into first person here. Nice! Hey, we're actually getting some decent chunks. Alright, I can chase that with the extension. Alright, let's get a little closer. I think those, yeah, there's two more back there. Excellent. Let's give these a chase. Yeehaw! That's quite a ways up there. Nice. Alright, so you get the general idea. I could do a lot more mining here, but let's collect what we have so far. There's another chunk back over here. Come on. Yeah, these collectors need a much closer, I mean, a much further range. That's just mud. I don't care about mud. Whoa! Alright, let's turn on sticky wheels. There we go. I'm getting stuck. Come on, you can do it. There it is. Nice. Alright, yeah, let's head back and dump this stuff off. Excellent. Yeah, we got a few chunks in there. And I added a button to the resource collector. What you can do is pull next to this one and push that button, and it transfers everything to there. Of course, you still got to grab this stuff out of the chest. Let's see, we got some... Oh, that doesn't belong there. A little bit of stuff in there. And a little bit of stuff in there. And to process the stuff that doesn't need to be processed, you can just dump it in either this chest, or even that chest, doesn't matter. So, gold, go in there. There we go. That'll drop a ball. And there it goes down the ramp. Okay. It's all looking good. Let's go see. Okay, this one didn't get choked up. It actually worked really good. And there the ball goes around the corner and down the next ramp. Whee! I want to replace all those wall sections with ice. I think that might help a little. Whee! Yeah, this section's working good up to this point. Yeah, just got to figure out what I want to do from this point onward. There we go. Whee! Oh! Really don't know the reason why it pours in motion on an arc like that, but I guess, whatever. Sweet! Money, 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 money! Money! Nice. Got some green, got some gold. Actually, I should take the elevator, or the walkavator as I call it. Alright, so that's the whole process. When I figure out how to tackle that last ball zone, I will probably do another update video. But for now, thank you for joining and have a wonderful day. Take care, everybody.